I can't bring you to Christmas. My ex is coming, and it'll be awkward. She told me after I bought her family thoughtful gifts. So I left and never looked back. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I have been putting this off for months, but I need to get this out. What happened last Christmas still feels surreal. But I guess that's what happens when someone you love decides to detonate your life 3 days before the holidays. Amelia and I had been together for 2 years. Not the longest relationship, but long enough that we'd started talking about real things. Moving in together, meeting extended family, building something that mattered. She was the first woman I'd ever felt completely comfortable planning a future with. I'm not someone who falls easily, but when I do, I go all in. Last November, I started planning what I thought would be our first real Christmas together as a serious couple. I'm talking about the kind of Christmas where you actually coordinate schedules, buy thoughtful gifts, and make an effort to blend your traditions. Maybe that sounds boring to some people, but I grew up in a family where holidays mattered, where someone actually thought about what would make other people happy. I spent weeks finding the perfect gifts for her mom. I tracked down this vintage tea set she'd mentioned exactly once during Thanksgiving dinner, some pattern her grandmother used to collect. For her dad, I found the first edition of a book he'd referenced in passing. For Amelia, I'd saved up for months to buy her this art supplies kit she'd been eyeing, but would never buy for herself. The kind of gift that said, I pay attention to what matters to you. The reservations were made. The schedule was coordinated, and I was genuinely excited. This was going to be our Christmas. The first of many. I found that vintage tea set your mom mentioned at Thanksgiving. I told Amelia one evening in early December, showing her the carefully wrapped box. The one from the antique shop she used to visit with her grandmother. She barely looked up from her phone. Oh yeah, that's nice. I set the box down, watching her thumbs move across her screen. Is everything okay? You seem distant lately. I'm just stressed about the holidays, she said, not meeting my eyes. It's a lot of pressure, you know. I should have pushed harder. Should have asked why someone who'd been excited about Christmas plans a week earlier was suddenly treating them like a burden. But I trusted her. I trusted us. Looking back, the signs were obvious. The way she'd started checking her phone constantly. The vague responses when I asked about her day. The sudden mentions of Lucas, an old friend from college who's back in town, that became more frequent as December wore on. Lucas always said I was too good for small-town life, she mentioned one night while we were watching a movie. He thinks I should take more risks, she said another time when I asked if she wanted to confirm our dinner reservations. I didn't think much of it. People reconnect with old friends. It's normal. What I didn't realize was that she was already comparing me to him, and I was losing a competition I didn't even know I was in. December 22nd, 3 days before Christmas. I was in my living room, wrapping the last of the gifts when she walked in with that look on her face. The one that means someone's about to say something that changes everything. Oliver, we need to talk. I looked up from the ribbon I was tying. What's up? She sat down across from me, her hands twisting in her lap. For a moment, she looked almost pained. I'm bringing Lucas to Christmas dinner instead of you. The words hit me like cold water. I stopped mid-tie, the ribbon falling loose in my hands. What did you just say? I know this is awful timing, she started, then stopped, her face flushing. Lucas and I have been talking, and God, I don't know how to say this without sounding terrible. Try anyway. She took a shaky breath. Things with us have felt so structured. Like we're following some blueprint for what a relationship should be. With Lucas, everything feels more natural, more alive. I set down the gift. It was for her little sister, and looked at her directly. 3 days before Christmas. After I've been planning this for months. I know, it's cruel. I've been trying to find the right time to tell you, but there never was one. Her voice cracked slightly. You put so much thought into everything. The gifts, the reservations, the way you remember every little thing my family says. It should make me feel loved. But instead it makes me feel trapped. Trapped, I repeated. By someone caring about you? By someone planning out every moment of our future before I've even decided what I want it to look like? She was crying now, but pushing through it. Lucas doesn't do that. He lives in the moment. He makes me feel like I can breathe. I stared at her, trying to process what I was hearing. So what about the gifts? The reservations? Your family expecting me? I'll handle my family. She wiped her eyes. And honestly, maybe this is for the best. We want different things, Oliver. I need someone who doesn't have our entire life mapped out. That's when it hit me. She wasn't just leaving me for someone else. She was rejecting the very foundation of who I was. The care I'd put into making our Christmas special wasn't romantic. It was suffocating. The attention I'd paid to her family wasn't thoughtful. It was controlling. I could have argued. Could have pointed out that she'd seemed happy about all the planning until Lucas appeared. Could have asked her to at least wait until after Christmas. Could have begged her to reconsider. Instead, I stood up and walked to the pile of wrapped gifts I'd been organizing by family member. What are you doing? She asked. Finishing what I started. I picked up the gifts I'd bought for her family and gathered them into a neat pile. Give these to your family. I put a lot of thought into them. She stared at the gifts, but didn't take them. Oliver, you don't have to. Yes, I do. I set them on the coffee table between us. Your family deserves to have Christmas gifts, even if I won't be there to give them myself. You're making this harder than it needs to be. I'm making it exactly as hard as it needs to be. I walked to the closet and pulled out the overnight bag she kept at my place. You should probably take your things. Can't we at least talk about this more? As friends? I handed her the bag. You've made your choice, Amelia. I'm not going to argue with you about it. She started crying harder then. Not the kind of tears that come from genuine remorse, but the frustrated tears of someone who isn't getting the reaction they expected. This isn't how I wanted this to happen, but it is how it happened. 3 days before Christmas, after months of planning. After I'd already told my own family I'd be spending Christmas with yours. I walked to the door and opened it. I hope he's worth it. What am I supposed to tell my family? Tell them the truth. That you found someone who makes you feel more alive than I do. She gathered her things and the gifts, her mascara streaking. I do care about you, Oliver. I hope you know that. I know you care about me the same way you care about those gifts. When it's convenient. After she left, I sat alone in my living room, surrounded by wrapping paper and ribbon. The silence was deafening. But I didn't fall apart. I didn't call her back or text her begging for another chance. I didn't spend the evening drinking or wallowing in self-pity. Instead, I ordered Chinese food and spent the evening thinking about what I actually wanted from life. Christmas morning, I woke up early anyway. Made coffee, went for a long walk through the quiet streets, and called my parents. They were disappointed, but not surprised. They'd met Amelia and had their own reservations. Son, my dad said, someone who would do that to you 3 days before Christmas isn't someone you want to spend Christmas with anyway. My phone buzzed throughout the day. My mom keeps asking where you are. I don't know what to tell her. Lucas is trying, but he doesn't understand our family traditions. The tea set made my mom cry. She said it was the most thoughtful gift she'd ever received. I think I made a mistake. Can we please talk? I read each message, typed responses, deleted them, and put my phone away. She'd made her choice. I wasn't going to help her feel better about it. The week after Christmas, I focused on rebuilding. I updated my resume, reconnected with old friends, and started making plans for myself. Real plans. Not the kind I'd made with Amelia, but personal goals that excited me. My phone rang on January 2nd. Oliver. Amelia's voice was raw. I made a terrible mistake. Lucas left me. He said he was just having fun over the holidays. I sat down on my couch. I'm sorry to hear that. That's it? I'm falling apart and you're just sorry? What did you expect me to say, Amelia? You made your choice. But what we had was real. I was scared of how serious things were getting. I panicked and chose the easier option. You chose what felt more exciting. There's a difference. Please, can we meet somewhere? I know I devastated you, but I was confused about what I wanted. I see now that what I wanted was you. You wanted the idea of me. But you didn't want the reality of being with someone who shows love through planning and attention to detail. Those things are what made you special. Lucas didn't care about anything that mattered to me. He just wanted to have a good time. And now you know the difference. So give me another chance. Please. I looked around my apartment, cleaner than it had been in months, filled with new books and plans for the future. No, Amelia. I don't want to. The calls continued for weeks, each one more desperate than the last. Her friends started reaching out too, telling me I was being too harsh, that everyone makes mistakes. By spring, the calls had stopped. I heard she'd moved back in with her parents, that she was struggling, that she'd started therapy. I genuinely hoped she found what she needed. I threw myself into the life I was building. Photography classes led to weekend trips. A gym membership led to a hiking group and new friends. I got promoted at work and started considering a ring I'd seen in a jewelry store window. Not for anyone specific. Just as a reminder that someday I'd find someone who wanted the same future I did. That's when I met Sarah. Sarah was different from Amelia in every way that mattered. She was thoughtful, where Amelia was impulsive. Steady, where Amelia was volatile. Most importantly, she appreciated the things about me that Amelia had found overwhelming. I love how you remember things, she told me one evening as we planned a weekend trip. It makes me feel like I'm important to you. You are important to me, I know. And I love that you show it in ways that matter. When December rolled around, Sarah was excited about our first Christmas together. I want to meet your family, she said while we decorated her apartment. And I want you to meet mine. I think they'll adore you. Are you sure? I tend to go overboard with holiday planning. She laughed. Promise me you will. My family does everything last minute, and I've always wanted to experience what it's like when someone actually thinks ahead. We were discussing Christmas Eve dinner when my phone buzzed. Hey, it's Amelia. I know it's been a while, but I wanted to reach out. I'm doing better now, and I was hoping we could talk. I showed Sarah the message. Want me to respond? Do you want to? I thought about it. No, I really don't. Then don't. I deleted the message and went back to planning our menu. The holiday party was at our mutual friend Mike's house. Sarah and I walked in together, and I felt that comfortable confidence that comes from being with someone who genuinely wants to be with you. That's when I saw her. Amelia was by the punch bowl, looking smaller than I remembered. She was alone, checking her phone with the desperate frequency of someone hoping for rescue. Is that her? Sarah asked quietly. Yeah. She looks lost. She probably is. Sarah squeezed my hand. Are you okay? I'm fine. And I was. Looking at Amelia, I felt only distant sympathy. I was talking to Mike when I felt someone approach. Oliver. I turned. Amelia stood there holding a drink, her smile strained. I didn't know you'd be here. You look really good. Hi, Amelia. I put my arm around Sarah. This is Sarah. Hi. Sarah said warmly, extending her hand. I'm Sarah. Amelia shook it, her smile faltering. I'm Amelia. We used to. We dated. I know, Sarah said kindly. Oliver mentioned you two had history. I watched Amelia process that our entire relationship had been reduced to history in my conversations with someone new. I've been thinking about us lately. Amelia said, her voice tight. About what we had. That was a long time ago, I said. I've moved on. But don't you miss the way we used to be? Her voice cracked slightly. The way you used to plan everything for us. I still plan things. I looked at Sarah, who beamed back at me. Sarah and I are spending Christmas with her family. We've been coordinating for months. Oliver's been working with my mom to perfect her grandmother's prime rib recipe, Sarah added, clearly proud. And he found the most incredible gifts from my nieces and nephews. I don't know how he keeps track of what they all love. I watched Amelia's face as Sarah spoke, seeing the realization that everything she'd rejected about me was exactly what Sarah treasured. Please, Amelia said, her composure cracking. Can we just— Amelia, I interrupted gently. I'm not the same person you left, and I'm grateful you did leave. I learned what I actually deserve, but I know now that I made a mistake. I was young and scared and stupid. And now you're a year older, I said, and hopefully wiser. I hope that serves you well. Sarah stepped closer. We should get back to the party. Take care of yourself, Amelia. I turned to walk away, then paused. And next time you find someone who plans Christmas around you, maybe don't wait until 3 days before to tell them they're uninvited. As we walked away, Sarah slipped her hand into mine. That was harder than I expected, she said. For me or for her? For her. She looked like she was watching her life walk away. Maybe she was, but that's not my problem anymore. We spent the rest of the party with friends, making plans for New Year's Eve. I didn't think about Amelia again until we were driving home. Do you think she'll keep trying? Sarah asked. No. She saw what she needed to see tonight, which was that I'm genuinely happy, and that the things she found suffocating about me are exactly what makes someone else feel cherished. Sarah was quiet for a moment. I do feel cherished, she said. The way you plan ahead, the way you remember details, the way you invest in making things special. It makes me feel like I'm precious to you. You are precious to me, I know. And I love that you show it. That night, I thought about the ring I'd been considering. Not as a distant someday purchase, but as something with real purpose, someone who deserved it. I never heard from Emilio again. According to Mike, she moved to another city months later, started fresh somewhere else. I genuinely hope she found what she was looking for. This Christmas, Sarah and I are hosting dinner at our new apartment. I've been planning since October, coordinating with both families. And yes, I've already wrapped most of the gifts. Sarah thinks it's wonderful. I love watching you create these experiences, she told me last week. You don't just plan events, you build memories. She's right. That's exactly what I do. Last week, I saw a familiar tea set in an antique shop window. The same pattern I bought for Amelia's mom. For just a moment, I wondered if she'd kept it. If she'd ever told her family the real story about why I wasn't there for Christmas. Then I walked past and went to find what I was actually looking for. Something that would make Sarah's mom smile on Christmas morning. Because that's what love looks like to me. Not grand gestures or spontaneous adventures, but the daily choice to make someone feel seen and valued. The willingness to plan ahead because their happiness matters to you. Amelia taught me that not everyone wants to be loved that way. Sarah taught me that the right person will treasure it. The ring is already bought. I'm planning to propose on Christmas morning. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.